Good morning. Again, my name's Bob Purdon, and as I mentioned before, I've been in the business a long time, training, consulting, as a salesman also, manager, and trained all over the continent and parts of Panama and South America. The reason I mention that distance is the fact that the automobile business I found was all the same. And of all the conditions that we taught, they were very consistent and positive. But what really gave us the momentum and the reason to train were the exercise that we pursued every week, which was to shop other dealerships and compare approaches. I've shopped a minimum of 700 times, and that's in person, sending someone out, not giving them any advice, just say, go to this dealership, see what happens, and then have them come back and report their experiences to us. From that flow of information, we were able to put ourselves in a very strong position on the individual dealer basis. What the results showed us is the fact that the sales force, most of the time, on the individual basis, they did not have a specific direction to go in. They would meet the customer and wait for something to happen, almost wait for the customer to direct them in some form or fashion. And the other challenge that we faced also at times was, what would the customer say when they came in? Most of them were not comfortable completely. They were a little bit apprehensive, some of them, from experiences. So they would come in and they would have statements that they would make, just looking, not buying today, shopping, don't have a lot of time, so forth and so on. The combination of those factors and the game plan of pre-qualifying customers became very, very costly for everybody. Costly in attitudes, costly in lost business, just overall not good in the potential. So in my messages I've been sending out, I've stressed the fact that I want to talk about the how and why we can untap the potential and really improve the growth and professionalism of the retail automobile field easily. The first missing ingredient, in my opinion, overall, is the fact there is no distinct direction that everybody is going in inside of a dealership. It's called, well, we want to sell something. But when we talk sell something, what are we saying? We're saying, yeah, we want to have someone take delivery. Sale is also an easy term. But what does it mean? What does sale really mean? It's described as a customer paying for a product and taking delivery of the product. But what did that really do as far as training them? It's kind of a vague industry. So first of all, my opinion of the first step to be made to reposition ourselves in the marketplace positively is to have the most important critical element in front of us at all times, and that is not the sale, which is the ultimate the goal, but the actual critical moment in the interview, most critical, is the selection. So I have to concern myself with selections, and I don't worry about the results, because once people pick something they like, I'm going to get my share of business. We know that. So selection should be number one, not sale, selection. Because it's tangible. Everybody can understand showing something and having the customer say, I like it, and documenting it. That's tangible. So that would be my tangible overall goal. The enemy towards and for that, against that, I guess, is pre-qualifying. We've all heard the terms pre-qualifying. Pre-qualifying, okay? Well, today we may watch a sports event and see 70,000 people in a stadium. Were they pre-qualified? I don't know. Why are they there? Because they selected a product. That's why they're there. They didn't have to be pre-qualified. Nor should our customers be pre-qualified before they select something. Pre-qualifying is interpreted by a lot of people to be an excuse to shop or stop. I'm sorry, an excuse to stop, to not waste our time. We're dealing with a group of people that we have documented over 12 years that 30% can buy the first time, but 70% won't or can't. So that's the difference between today and tomorrow. But what about tomorrow? Of those 70 that didn't buy the first time in, the ones that return buy at a rate of 60%. Day in, day out, month in, month out. A tremendous advantage to develop a reason for these people to come back. Why do people complete a purchase? Because they selected an item. Why do people return? Because we had selected an item and couldn't or didn't complete it the first time in. So selection of the item is number one. But what prevents that from happening? A statistic from my shopping experiences. Of 700 in-person visits to dealerships, 90% of those visits ended up with the inability of the customer to complete a purchase. Because in order to complete a purchase, they have to meet someone. They have to be shown the product that they're interested in, the right one. They have to demonstrate the product to really get involved with it. They have to document that presentation. And then they have to discuss and cover pricing and all of the options. 90% could not travel that route because the brakes were mentally put on by the people waiting on them, because they had made some kind of a statement that did not indicate they were buying that day. Pre-qualifying before selection has no value. It's mental garbage is what it is. The only thing that counts is what type of product are you looking for? How do you plan to use it? What would you like to have benefits from? Those are statements and reactions of the customer from the customer that are very honest because there's no threat to them. What do you want to spend? How much do you want to put down? Those are not even relevant. Without a product, they don't mean anything except giving the wrong information to each other, which sets the stage for stopping the interview. We mentioned before, when customers say to us, we're not buying, we're just looking on our lunch hour, the answer to the pro is, I understand. It all begins somewhere and then gets on the route of selection by saying, what would you like to look at? What type of vehicle or product? They do not take any of those statements at face value. They don't confront the customer. They just say, I heard you. It doesn't mean I agree with you. So when they say, I understand, they're moving on. So by displacing any subjects of a pre-qualifying nature and putting them on the sidelines by answering with, I understand, which means, okay, over there, or other than, as far as I'm concerned, whatever it takes, all those statements move the wrong information or non-information to the side. What counts now is what are you looking for, and let's find it. If they know what they're looking for, we lead them to the product. If they don't know what they're looking for, we sit them down and discuss how we can identify the product. We're a product specialist, is actually what we are. So when the effect of the specific product as our goal and being appointed and hired that way is placed in my mind, and then we talk about the variables to that, the verbal challenges that we want to stay away from. So what do I want to listen to? I want to listen to everything that applies to their wants and needs about the product. I am not interested in anything else at this point until we discuss and find the product. If that can be established within the sales force, we're now having a different direction that our sales force is going in. They're going to be busy. Why? Because when they do talk to management about the customer, the manager at first does not care where they're from, does not care what they drive, does not care where they've been, do not care where they're going. The only thing that management prioritizes is which one. When that is documented and established, now we can talk about the variables, where they live, all of that stuff that is required to prepare for delivery. But up until that time, we don't discuss it. When a person in business documents the item that the customer is interested in, whether they're a buyer or not, by the way, and they present the numbers, the information that we were trying to hope we would get is now coming out anyway. Because in the process of delivery, they have to and want to give me the information so that they can own the item. So pre-qualifying has no place as far as directing us and the customer towards the right item. Buying today is not the issue. The first issue is the product. If they like the product, we will do all we can to allow them to take it. But if they can't take it, we're going to make sure the stage was set for them to be able to return to pursue the information on the product. So I'm reestablishing a BBAC. What happens to my business when we don't change our direction to either a buyer or non-buyer as far as presentation of everything? Whether they are a buyer or not, they are greeted properly, they are presented the product, they are demonstrated the product, they're allowed to select the product, and they're going to be given the financial information on the product, whether they are a buyer or not. What does that do to my dealership activity? Will we be quoting if the selections increase? Will I be quoting more prices? Yes. Will I be evaluating more vehicles? Yes. Will we be talking more about finance options? Yes. And who is doing this consistently? We are. Who is not? They don't give prices to non-buyers. Remember, 90% couldn't get there? Guess what? They couldn't get formal figures either. They couldn't get their car looked at because they were not buying today. So they left the door open for us to have a great proactive impact. We want to have a proactive dealership. That's what we want. But pre-qualifying doesn't allow that. It puts the brakes on. So the only thing that should occur between approaching us is the first goal of selection of the product, not whether they're a buyer or not, who they are, we don't care. Which product did they select? Then we will start to fill in the gaps after that is documented. That changed the whole energy of the dealership. Now we have reasons to look at vehicles. We have reasons to, because the competition is not going to do that. I have 700 reasons for saying that. We didn't have price competition, nor would you. If you have any questions, go shop. And you'll be proving to yourself that the door is wide open for a full, proactive presentation dealership. Makes no difference who you are. Who will appreciate that more than anybody? The lady. She's the one that makes the difference. If I was forced to wait on either her or him, it would be her always, because she is the budget director. She's the one that really nods in most, not all, but in most cases, yes or no. So she should be involved in it all anyway. So the door is going to be open to the dealerships and the sales forces and the management teams that are completely open, transparent on the fact that you do not, as a customer, have to prove anything to us, whether you're buying or not. It will happen or it won't, we agree. But we want to take you through the process that allows you to say completely in your mind, yes or no, or to report your experiences back to the other people that you're going to meet anyway. Who is going to make us look good? It's going to be the people that didn't do what we did. So we're winners anyway in perception. So all we have to do is take the shackles off, get that mental garbage off of our backs about who, what, where, when, and whatever. Just make sure the customer goes the distance, and then we will determine what the score is. Well, all I can say is our dealership delivered in 2015 10,000 retail, 10,043 new Lexuses. That's the result of that type of attitude. So it's all professional. It's go forward, hold nothing back. Don't worry about the competition because they're not going to change. They haven't changed in over 30, 40 years. The Sharpen reports prove that. And you can be a strong winner. Thank you.